Today is August 31st, 2018. We are Sinful Black Entertainment, and this is the Ovatyme Sports Show. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday. Let me throw on my headphones real quick. I know it's a little bit late once again, but I told you we got things popping, things going on. And not only that, I have my good old buddy old pal, the one, the only, the infamous, famously infamous, never to be excluded, but always dutifully duted, Mr. Big Syn, ladies and gentlemen. Big Syn, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? What's good? What's good, sir?
What is good, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy. Yes, I'm here. I'm taking some time out the editing bay and doing what I do on the side after work to jump in over here with some Ovatyme Sports with my boy here, because directly after this shit, me and your boy here are going to do some commentary for that wrestling shit.
That's right. And you better believe that that's what we do. I am excited.
You never gave me your thoughts on how the ring looked after I showed it to you in action.
Oh, oddly enough, I watched the video. I like it. It looks good. It was a match. It was Kenny Omega, right?
Kenny Omega and Jericho.
There you go. I knew it was Jericho. That was looking actually pretty lit. I like it. That is one thing that I'm actually in love with. Is the way that whole thing came out. And so I tried to tell people about it. I don't think that people grasped the concept of what we were doing. However, Mr. Syn, let's go into detail about what we have planned for this and what we're actually doing and what we're actually trying to achieve with this, sir, if you don't mind.
Okay, so I'm going to give everybody a little history lesson about what this is with me and this man when it comes to what we are working on, what I have already started and established through tireless hours of doing what I do. So back in the day, WWE No Mercy, WrestleMania 2000, when they were the big games, they weren't the graphical monstrosities like we have with the 2K series now. And back then, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have shit to record on like we do nowadays. Me and this man used to take a VHS tape. Yes, some of the people who watch this might not even know what the fuck a VHS tape is. We used to put it in what's called a VCR. That is a video cassette recorder. We used to put the tape in, manually hit record, and record our shows, our matches in these Nintendo 64 games. And me and this man would take them to other people's houses and get people hyped up off the shit we was doing.
Still remember the most infamous thing where Kevin Nash didn't show up for the last match in that gauntlet.
Well, that was when Kevin Nash was ducking Big Syn and didn't want to get in the ring with him again. And yeah,
he ducked him for a good month. Remember, no matter what match we put him in, if we put Kevin Nash last as the last man to come out, he never showed up.
For some reason, the Nintendo 64 did not want Kevin Nash to get embarrassed by Big Syn anymore. Because people who watch the tapes, seeing Kevin Nash would literally beat the living death out of Big Syn, and somehow Big Syn would John Cena his way back at the end and win the match.
Yeah, that's the crazy part, right? Like
Big Syn was the original John Cena.
Yes, imagine a bad guy John Cena, just Big Syn. All it took was two moves. Ty Turner, and what was the move? What was the move called? Yep. Oh man, good fucking times. Good fucking times. Let's see.
2018, fucking 20 years later.
Yes.
We have been blessed with YouTube, and we have been blessed with Fire Pro Wrestling World on the PlayStation 4. Now, before this, I've never played a Fire Pro game. I've heard about them because I don't PC game. That's not what I do. I've heard about them. I've watched people play them. I'm like, hey, these look like the old school games. Cool. Yeah, whatever. But here I am being blown away by graphics of 2K and SmackDown versus Raw all these years. I was missing out on what could have been.
Very true.
And now what is. So what me and this man are doing, we have started the infamous Wrestling Federation. Me and him are going back to our roots of doing these things. Good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Doing these things, doing these matches. The beautiful thing about this is I can set the computer, and if you watch any of the 3 episodes, that's all computer work. That is not me touching the sticks at all.
Which makes me realize that AI is just as sadistic and dominant as we are.
I set the computer level to 10 in these matches. That is why they are as high, fast-paced, and action-packed as they are.
I believe it. I mean,
if you watch one from yesterday, there's literally, I think it's the second match or the third match on there. 2 men in the match get KO'd, literally knocked out, and their bodies are just laying in the ring while everybody else is wrestling around them.
That's true. Real quick, we got a couple comments from Brian Peveroff here. He said that Chris Jericho, WWE Hall of Fame class of 2019, if he ever retires, sir, ever retires.
The issue with that is right now, I believe he is still the New Japan Intercontinental Champion.
That's true. I believe so. I believe that is actually the case. The second comment, he wants to know when we're starting up the wrestling show again. We're actually, I have a mid-September due date. Once my schedule gets kind of tipsy, I need to do it on a Thursday or possibly a Friday night because we got to go over the whole weeks of events, which includes any pay-per-view that happens on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then
Lucha Underground, NXT.
Yep, and we have to make sure that we have
right now for wrestling fans, NXT is the bar.
Yep.
Everything is below NXT right now.
Yep, and now we even have to cover New Japan now because that's set off because we got All In coming.
For All In, the Board Club pay-per-view. Yep.
And Mr. Lawrence Elam says, "What's up, kinfolk?" He just recently touched down back in Vegas, so he's back in. What's good, sir? What's good? Oh, he said, "Give me the hookup to be the third on that show." We'll talk about that. We'll get that sorted out. We'll have a guest every now and then. We'll see if we can loop you in. I know that we got to get Toby on the show too. We've owed Toby for a minute.
Yeah, Toby wants to do some old school wrestle talk.
Yeah, so we definitely we'll get you slotted in somewhere. No worries about that. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of sports. This week, yesterday was the last week of a preseason. So the question is, sir, how did you see your Patriots and how did they finish? And did you like what you saw from the third and fourth stringers, the guys that were trying to make the team?
Yes and no. We really didn't see the big stars of the Patriots out on the field. We saw Brady do his thing against the Eagles 2 weeks ago. Against the Panthers, they were up and down. You know me, man. I don't really pay attention until the regular season starts. I do know they lost their rookie guard, the one they drafted along with Sony Michel for the season, to a blown Achilles.
Yeah.
Which is okay. They did cut Malcolm Mitchell over the last couple weeks. I don't know if Eric Decker has even played yet.
Yeah, no, he actually, that was the breaking news that I had on Wednesday, that Eric Decker actually retired.
Oh, so he's not even going to play at all. Okay.
Nope. He's because he was barely on the bubble because your man's Cordarrelle Patterson was going to take his spot.
Well, Cordarrelle Patterson, let's talk about this man right here. This man was only used as a kick returner in Oakland.
Yep.
He has shown in this preseason that he uses those kick return skills. Hey, dog, you went all black. But as I'm saying, he uses those kick return skills and his shiftiness to create plays in the open field.
Yes.
James, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We lost Mr. Black for a hot second. I don't know where he went, but anyway, I'll just ramble on about the Patriots. The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. There ain't nobody in the AFC who's going to stop them. Not Pittsburgh, not anybody.
Am I not here?
I hate when he does this to me.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Because I shoot from the hip, and I want his opinion on shit.
Am I here now?
Where the fuck did you go?
Oh, am I here? Can you hear me?
Here now.
I was here the whole time. Where did you go?
Motherfucker, I was here looking at a black screen and talking.
Well, I was here looking at both screens while you're sitting here and talking. So woo. Anyways, so Mr. Lawrence Elam, well, Toby says hello. Toby's watching. He's a good viewer. We have Larry said he wants in on the show too, and he talks about his Cowboys not looking good.
Larry, we already talked about the NFC East and how horrible it's going to be. The Giants are going to win that division. The Cowboys will probably be dead last.
The Cowboys got problems, and it's not a lot more than just. See, this is what happens when you lose the number one tight end and the number one receiver on your team. Bad things happen, and that's funny. Toby said that you just now noticed that I'm black.
On my end is black. I have no other course but to say, hey, I'm looking at a black screen.
It's because of the color, isn't it? Anyways, so the funniest things that came out of here. So I'm gonna go over the scores real quick, just briefly. Just I don't know why. It doesn't matter. The Dolphins beat the Falcons.
Football, no one cares. Preseason football, no one cares. You know who cares about the preseason? The Cleveland Browns. They go 3-1 and 4-0 in the last 2 seasons.
Hey, Mayfield looking like a beast. So I don't know. Remember, our predictions coming true. We got the Dolphins beating the Falcons 34-7. Colts beating the Bengals 27-26. Browns beating the Lions 35-17. Patriots beating the Giants 17-12. The Eagles beating the Jets 10-9. The Steelers beating the Panthers 39-24. Jaguars beating the Bucks 25-10. Ravens beating the Redskins 30-20. Bills beating the Bears 28-27. Vikings beating the Titans 13-3. Saints beating the Rams 28-blank. Texans beating the Cowboys 14-6. Chiefs beating the Packers 33-21. Broncos beating the Cardinals 21-10. The Chargers skating by the Niners 23-21. And the Raiders beating the Seahawks 30-19. So those are your scores. We got one more show to do this weekend for the NFC West. That's sure to be a barn burner, sir. We got one really, really good division and one really, really shitty division. Well, last week we had 2 really, really good divisions. Now goes back to normal. Isn't it how we end where we started, right? We had one decent division and one shitty division, and they were back to that same shit. So we got a lot to talk about then. A lot of good quarterbacks to talk about.
And one of them not named Derek Carr.
No, one of them's not named Derek Carr. Real spit, though. Real spit. I was impressed with my 49ers. I was specifically impressed with Jimmy Garoppolo. I can say the sentiment that Lawrence Elam just said, that football is going to be crazy. I fully agree with this wholeheartedly. This season is, with all the controversy, the whole. I mean, we had the kneeling thing last year. Let's not even talk about the kneeling. The anticipation of the NFL season itself and the expectations that are being set is perhaps some of the biggest and the craziest that I've ever seen. I mean, where else can we have the majority of the teams look good enough to where we're talking, playoff teams? We have 20 out of the 32 teams looking like playoff teams. We haven't had that in a long time. I'm just saying.
But let's be real. let's be real about one other thing here too. The Green Bay Packers are fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to sign a man to $100 million guaranteed who has not been healthy in 4 years.
I fully agree with that statement. I did talk about that on Wednesday. I said, how is Tom Brady have been to 8 Super Bowls, won 5 of them, and still make significantly less than Aaron Rodgers? And I said, but you know the reason why they had to pay Aaron Rodgers that money? Because the Packers organization fucked around and got rid of his best friend and his number 1 receiver. Yes, they added Jimmy Graham, but it's going to take time to develop that relationship.
Well, not only that, Jimmy Graham's a shell of what he was.
Yeah. I mean, he'll be good with a good quarterback. I mean, that's not to say that the quarterbacks he's played with haven't been good, but let's be real. When has Pete Carroll ever used a running a tight end?
No, I agree with you. Russell Wilson was a bad match with Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
But Jimmy Graham hasn't had a productive season in 4 seasons.
Yeah. But the way that Mike McCarthy's offense is designed, I mean, tight ends are left out on the island. Remember, 2 of their tight ends had severe injuries. One had a career-threatening injury, or actually a career-ending injury. I'm sorry. So,
but we also got to think about it, James. The Green Bay Packers did not shore up that offensive line, which is shaky at best, and did not shore up their running game, which is shit.
Well, exactly. Remember we talked about this, and we said that just like the Giants were just like the Packers, where if they can find a running game, that's about it. That's about it, right? Is it where they wear cheese on their head?
In the offensive line, Swiss cheese.
Yeah. So remember, we talked about this. We said that, I mean, the Packers are in the same place as the Lions. And not the Lions. The Packers are in the same place as the Giants were and the same place as the Saints were. That if they found a running game to protect their quarterback, that they would be dangerous. Only 2 of those teams have found a running back. And that would be the Giants. The Saints. No, it was the Saints and the Giants. Those are only 2 teams.
So the Lions.
Well, the Lions
got
that too. Yeah. And so that's what we've come to now. Now we're at a point where, and I asked this question when we first did when we first launched this for the summer. I said, is Aaron Rodgers now freaking out? Is Aaron Rodgers? They paid this man this money, but is Aaron Rodgers finally realizing that his time is coming? The clock is up.
Well, when you sign a contract for $105 million guaranteed, knowing you're not going to make it to another Super Bowl, when you're supposed to be the heir apparent to the greatest of all time, you should already have more than 1 fucking Super Bowl ring. Yeah,
let's be honest for a second. You and I both know that there's 8 teams better than the Packers right now. Let's call a spade, Phil. That there's 8 to 10 teams better than the Green Bay Packers.
And 2 of them are in their own fucking division.
Yep. And so that's what it comes down to. They're going to pay the man, let this man end his career, but he's not going to the Super Bowl. He'd be happy to make the playoffs. Playoffs, yes, playoffs. And
I'm gonna make a bold prediction about Aaron Rodgers this year.
Sure, go ahead.
He's going to lead the league in interceptions.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's going to go to Brett Favre route?
It's either going to be him or Derek Carr. One of those 2 are going to lead the league in interceptions.
Well, I actually think if it's going to be between those 2, I think it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I told you they leave their tight ends on the island. They don't have really good receivers except the one dude, Adams, and Adams is I think he's going to end up being Jordy Nelson, which means that he's probably going to end up getting hurt like Jordy Nelson.
Well, ain't Randall Cobb still there?
Yeah, Randall Cobb's still there, and he got hurt last year too.
Randall Cobb was nothing when Jordy Nelson wasn't on the field. Never mind.
That whole receiving core was nothing. Well, I mean, once Adams and Cobb got hurt, that whole receiving core was trash. Complete, utter fucking trash. And like I said, the Packers, to me, they'd be lucky to make the playoffs. They are not going to another Super Bowl. There's too many good teams in the West. I said the Giants are proving themselves. The Lions are about due for a deep playoff run now. The whole NFC West.
The Vikings are the best team. The Vikings could possibly be the best team in the NFC.
They could be. They could be with solid quarterback play. I mean, they're running back.
That defense, two healthy, dominant running backs, a good young receiving core, a quarterback who's not afraid to make the tough throws.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz, if he comes back and he's healthy, the Eagles are still dangerous. But if he doesn't come back and he comes back late, the Eagles are done. But that doesn't mean they're not going to be a competitive team, and they got to play the Packers.
And they're also in a division where the Giants are a lot better than they were last year.
Yep.
The Redskins, some can argue are better, some can argue are the same. Alex Smith is not going to lose you games.
No, not at all. If the Redskins are going to lose, it's that suspect ass defense that they got. Alex Smith.
The first on the defense is Josh Norman.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because remember, Alex Smith had the blessing of not needing to carry the Chiefs because they had a decent defense, and the same with the Niners. Remember when my Niners were balling, that was defense, that wasn't offense. You also
got to remember the Kansas City Chiefs had a great special teams game,
yep.
which to watch the Redskins do not.
Yep, and so there's going to be a lot more. Well, there's a lot more about the Redskins that meets the eye. They lost their running back, which is why they signed Adrian Peterson. Speaking of which, Adrian Peterson, I'm glad that we led to that segue. So I don't know if you heard or not. Adrian Peterson got all butthurt at Shannon Sharp, talking about that Shannon Sharp was being racist for not having his back when talking about him on Shannon Sharp's little sports show, right? The one on Fox.
A black guy was calling another black guy racist?
Yes, a black guy was calling another black guy racist.
All right, I'm done with this country.
and the fact that Shannon Sharp really had to defend himself, like I wouldn't even responded to the motherfucker.
Hold on, let me guess. Skip Bayless made a big fucking deal about it, didn't he?
Oh no, well Skip Bayless was like, "Where the fuck is this nigga coming from talking about Shannon Sharp?" He's like, dude, I talk about people all the time. I'll tell you if a quarterback's trash or if a quarterback's good. There ain't no race involved. Like he's saying that Adrian Peterson is not the same Adrian Peterson of old. Is that a wrong or right statement, Phil?
That is an absolute correct statement because Adrian Peterson averaged 2.4 yards a game last year.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. Like really, Adrian Peterson. I think Adrian Peterson is still mad that he didn't get picked up by the Cowboys last year when he really, really wanted to go to the Cowboys.
Well, not only that, I think he's still mad that Minnesota was like, fuck you, leave.
Well, he wanted Minnesota to pay him. And it's sad because he could have been a part of this run, the playoff run. He could have been a part of that moment. You know what I'm saying? In Minnesota last year in the Dome. He could have been there because it's not like they really needed running backs. He could have been a part of that whole scenario, and because of his greed, he chose not to.
Well, he would have been needed when fucking Cook went down.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say, but it's horrible. Like Adrian Peterson really accusing Shannon Sharp of racism because he didn't have your back, bruh. You're
you know what that's like?
What?
That's like me telling another Irish guy they have a drinking problem.
Trash, bruh. Trash. And you know what? It's bad because I feel bad for Alex Smith. I want Alex Smith to succeed, but Adrian Peterson's on the same team, and I don't know. I hope Adrian Peterson tears another ACL or something. I don't know. That's a bad thing to say. That's fucked up. I shouldn't be saying shit like that.
So in the middle of this NFL talk, can I say one thing non-sports related?
Yeah, sure.
Why did motherfuckers poke Eminem with a stick and make him do what he did on this album?
Oh, my God. See, a shit like this is why we need to do it off the rails, because that album – so I need people to understand. So let's go off topic for a second, right? So this week's two albums featured a new E40 album an E40 returning back to his roots, and an Eminem album where Eminem returns back to his roots.
An Eminem album that nobody knew was coming out.
Nobody knew. I didn't even know these two albums were coming, and they just got dropped on us. They threw them on Spotify, the Google Play, threw it on the internet, and next thing you know, the shit's called wildfire. Eminem slayed everyone. There was
when we say everyone, we mean everyone.
What everyone, even including his own fans. He slayed everything.
He slayed himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Told you we had to go off topic this one time. It's been a minute. So, bruh. So now we got a couple things. Aaron Donald, Aaron Donald.
Yeah, the man who's still not paid from St. Louis unless they finally paid him.
No, they finally paid him. They paid him a 6-year contract extension worth $135 million.
Congratulations, big man.
And meanwhile, Khalil Mack is just sitting there like.
No, Khalil Mack is sitting there like, listen, Chucky, I'm going to hold out the season. I don't like dogs anyway.
Yeah. Which just tells me, why don't you just trade the man? Like, they can get so much for him.
I guarantee you, Khalil Mack is like, y'all can trade me, but that's them green motherfuckers.
Shit, he'll probably take it because he knows he's going to get paid. He deserves the money.
He wants to win. He does want to win.
Hey, Sam Darnold looks I mean, they're not going to go to the playoffs.
James, Tom Brady's still in the NFL.
The Jets aren't going to make the playoffs, but they're going to go possibly 8-8. Remember, I said 7-9, 8-8. I got them around there somewhere. They're gonna be all right. I mean, when then Tom Brady retires in 2-3 years, and then Josh, he says, "F you, Phil. I can stop when I want."
That was the whole me telling another Irishman to stop drinking.
and Larry says it needs to be all about the Cowboys, and I feel your pain.
There's nothing about the Cowboys. I can go talk about the Cowboys while I'm sitting on the pot real quick and drop a whole stew that they're going to be in this year.
The Cowboys, I'm going to be dead honest. The Cowboys they have problems. They got a world of problems this year. It starts with.
Right, oh, you see this right here?
Yeah.
This is the Cowboys this year.
There's only two words to describe the Cowboys: dumpster and fire. It's that Dak Prescott taking L's. He's getting his news exposed on the internet. Ezekiel Elliott, I don't know. This man ain't wore a crop top yet, so I don't know if he's like. I think he's off his game. I think
people are body shaming him, so he started wearing a full shirt.
Yeah, I told you. I think this is the year that either Jason Garrett gets fired, or they realize that they probably got to pay Des Bryant or something. They got problems.
No, I think this is the year that the NFL realizes Dak Prescott's not a starting quarterback.
He had Ezekiel Elliott to cover his.
He had Ezekiel Elliott and 5 Pro Bowl offensive linemen.
Yeah. I mean,
and a Pro Bowl wide receiver, and a Pro Bowl alternate wide receiver.
This is the worst part. Ezekiel Elliott is going to go for 1,600 yards this year. No doubt. Well, it wasn't an issue whether he stayed healthy last year. He got suspended for Boatgate last year.
But you also have to remember too, in his 3rd year in college, he got injured. This is his 3rd year in the NFL, so see what happens.
I still think Ezekiel Elliott will still go for 1,500 yards, and the Cowboys still will be 4-12, 13-3.
So there's your Cowboys talk, Larry. You're welcome.
It's bad. I don't even have words for it. Like, they got problems trying to put this whole thing together. I mean, Prescott's got an arm, but he just doesn't have it. Like, when you see a quarterback, you see Jimmy Garoppolo, and he has it. You see Jared Goff in his 2nd year, and he has it. As shaky as Patrick Mahomes is, he has it.
So about 11 minutes ago, Toby texted me. He said, I don't think Chris Jericho is going to be in Japan for much longer. There's a typhoon about to take out Japan.
He's like, I'm out.
All right. And Faze, Faze, Vinny. Wait for me.
So I got to ask you a question since you're a baseball fan. I'm a baseball fan to a point, but I know that you keep it with baseball. Are you excited for the last 30 days of baseball?
I would, I don't like the Yankees. I would be more excited if the Yankees were closer to the Red Sox at this time, because whenever those two are near each other, it's a better season.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Hold on, let's see here. Yeah, the Yankees are still 8 games back. I don't see them catching Boston because Boston just went 5-5.
Yep.
But they're arresting everybody for this playoff run.
Yep. So there's a good 29, 30 games left. Actually, not even that. Like good 25 games left in the season. The Yankees, I believe they're going to secure a playoff spot. Boston definitely.
They'll be in that play-in game where they'll play the fucking. Right now, it's looking like it's going to be the Oakland A's, and I don't know if the Yankees can beat the A's in a 1-game series because the A's are playing fantastic fucking baseball right now.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Remember, I talked about it. I said the A's are going to end up creeping behind and trying to take this damn division.
The only reason the Astros got up on the A's is because Jose Altuve came back.
Yep. We have in the American League. So we talked about Boston, the Yanks, Tampa Bay trying to sneak in. Cleveland is in sole control.
Tampa Bay's 9 games behind Oakland. They don't have a chance.
Well, Cleveland has completely secured the Central. There's no way that they can lose the Central at all. I don't even see it.
You would have to go on a 20-game losing streak.
Which it's baseball, so it could happen. So I mean, but I don't.
So how about the very overpaid Washington Nationals not even going to make the playoffs this year?
Nope. Sorry. Although it's interesting. I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs in the East anyway. I mean, you got Philadelphia is enough far ahead of them. They put enough distance, and same with Atlanta, where they can they can split games and they're going to be all right. Washington would literally have to go on a streak, and the same thing with the Giants. They literally would have to go on a streak and pray that their rivals lose. And
the Giants are 1 game under 500. They're not doing anything.
True.
Arizona's too good, and what the fuck happened with the Dodgers are only 2 games back, but you would think with that payroll and that roster they have in LA, the Dodgers should be dominating that division.
You think so? You know, they were in control.
Can you name a Diamondback? Can you name a Diamondback?
No. Although I will tell you, I watched the Dodgers the Diamondback game, and whoever their pitcher is, his name is what is that explorer in Florida? Ponce de Leon? Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some pitcher on Arizona named Ponce de Leon who has been destroying the Dodgers. He's made Yasiel Puig look like a bitch. I'm like, God damn, bro.
Well, Yasiel Puig has only played like a half the season.
Yeah, but he's this dude Ponce de Leon is looking like a beast. That's who's been carrying Arizona in their pitching staff. The dude is sick. The National League is looking tight. This is what we got. We got Atlanta and Philly. We got Chicago, St. Louis, Milwaukee still in the mix. And we got Arizona, Colorado, and the Dodgers still in the mix.
That whole National League will not be decided until the last week of baseball.
Yeah. I mean, when you got 9 teams, we got 8 teams. 8 teams and only, 6 playoff spots, right? So
4.
4. Oh, yeah.
You have to remember, it's the 3 divisions and whoever wins the play-in game.
Yeah, that's true. So it's technically 5, and then they play that play-in game, and then the next one is out. Yep. So 5, that's all we got. That's bad. So, I mean, my money, we'll talk. I mean, we'll get more into the playoffs, you know, the playoffs, the World Series as we get to that, the championship series and all that when we get to it. I got a lot to say about that. I'm hoping that the Giants can just come through. I mean, not the Giants, the A's can come through and knock shit out the park and do their thug thizzle. That's my plan. I'm praying that happens. So we're good on that. What else? NBA, not really much going on in the NBA. Did you see the Barbershop series?
No.
Okay, so there was an HBO show with I guess it was LeBron's Barbershop little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess unofficially, they say that Draymond Green said that LeBron James is the greatest because he decided that he was going to own who he was and own the social issues. I agree that the last 2 or 3 years that he's made this change into a social activist / figurehead.
When he stopped giving a shit what everybody thought about him is when LeBron James changed.
Yep. And I think that's when he turned that. I think the same thing is that when Jordan hit that corner, his first year with Pippen, that they finally hit.
But Jordan never fucking came out and said the kind of shit that LeBron says.
Yeah, he's never embraced it. I think, and that's kind of what the difference is. In this generation, LeBron James is the leader. I don't like him as a player. I think, you already know how I feel. I did. And I just think that because I thought that he could be the figurehead and carry the Cleveland Cavaliers to a championship. No, Kyrie Irving did.
Okay, but Kevin Durant's not a champion. So what?
And because of Kyrie Irving, this is the reason why Kevin Durant's on the Golden State Warriors. Not about LeBron James. It was Kyrie Irving's fault. I guarantee you, if the Warriors had won that year, that Kevin Durant would not be on the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, he would, because they still fucking came back from 3-1 to beat the Oklahoma shitty Thunder.
Yeah, but Kevin Durant wouldn't have went there. Not necessarily would have went there, but I think that
what's the old saying? If you can't beat them, join them.
Who knows? He probably would have joined LeBron in Cleveland. Oh, could you imagine that lineup? Kyrie
That's
Irving.
like saying Kawhi Leonard is going to join him in LA. It's not going to happen.
Could you imagine that death lineup? Kyrie Irving, Durant, LeBron, Kevin Love, and whoever they decide to put at center. Oh.
It would be a much different conversation than the one we're having now.
Much. The Cleveland Cavaliers putting up 150 a game.
Well, because LeBron actually passes the ball, unlike Kobe.
Damn.
The one thing I want to talk about is
go ahead.
Mike D'Antoni think he has enough basketballs on the court at one time that Carmelo Anthony is actually going to get some playing time.
Well, I just want to know what kind of strength and conditioning Carmelo Anthony has prepared himself for, because remember, D'Antoni only has one speed and it's fast. And last time I checked, Mellow Man was a bit on the heavy side, right? Because he was playing iso ball. Now this nigga got to run up and down the court, up, down, left, right, all over the court. I don't know. I don't think this is going to work. I think that Carmelo Anthony is going to be traded before the season's over. What are you looking at, sir?
Okay, so I turned on Fire Pro.
Okay.
And it's going through, some like demo matches.
Uh-huh.
And right now, it is one of the Japanese New Japan stars.
Yeah.
Taking on Ruby Riott, man versus woman, in a landmine match.
Man versus woman in a landmine match.
In this game, you can have man versus women. So the IWF will be the first wrestling federation to have an intergender championship.
Oh, Lord. So here's some news in basketball. Remember Brandon Knight? We haven't seen him in about 2 years because his knee was that screwed up.
Didn't he retire?
Nah, he's still there. He's still alive. He wants to play basketball.
Just because you retire don't mean you're dead.
Well, anyways, the Phoenix Suns
Did he retire? No, he's still alive. What?
Yes, Brian completed it. BABA start. He completed it, sir. The Rockets have found a way to trade Ryan Anderson with that max contract. Yes, they did it. They fucking did it. I didn't think that they were going to do it. They fucking did it.
Who's the retarded team that took him? My Nets?
No, actually it was the Phoenix Suns. in exchange.
That's just bad.
In exchange for another shitty contract, which is Brandon Knight. A shit contract for a shit contract. Those are the
Brandon Knight is still getting paid, and he ain't played in like 4 years.
Yeah. It's that serious. Yep, you're right. You're right. So yes, the Houston Rockets have found a way, and the Phoenix Suns have found a way to dump trash.
But yet, Isaiah Thomas still can't find a team or a contract.
So here we go. Are you ready for this one? So did what you call him sign it? Did what's his name? What's that center's name? Clint Capella. Did he ever sign a deal?
Yeah, he signed with Houston.
Okay, so now the Phoenix Suns now have Marquise Chris. Not the Phoenix Suns. The Houston Rockets now have Marquise Chris, along with Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight's not important. It's the Marquise Chris is what's important. They have a young, flashy, running power forward.
The Rockets are going to be exciting next year. It'll be 4 guys running down the court while Carmelo Anthony's eating a Twinkie under the other basket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's good. It looks good. He looks great. So I don't know. So this is going to be fun. What else do we got? Well, eventually we got to talk about college football one day. Today's not that day. I
got an upset for you.
What?
UNLV keeps it close against USC.
How close?
Under 10.
Jesus.
USC is favored by 26.
Take that bet. Take that bet and run with it to the thing. Run with it to the book.
Why I say this?
Why?
USC plays Stanford the week after. They're not looking at UNLV.
Oh, no. They could mess around and lose to UNLV.
Yeah. Especially a UNLV team with 48 returning players from last season.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster.
And the AP #1 running back in the Mountain West.
Oh, yeah. That definitely sounds like a recipe for disaster. If you
got a bet, go out and bet on UNLV to not lose by that much.
Not lose by that much.
If you want to take a chance, go ahead and bet them on the money line. You'll make some money off of them if they win.
Yes, please take the bet. And when you do, let me know so I can ask you for money. Anyways. All right, so it is 12:08. We have a wrestling video to do, which we're gonna make sure we download it and re-upload it again. But it's gonna be live on YouTube, right?
Yep.
So make sure.
4 matches tonight because it's so early. It's so late there.
Yeah. So make sure you. I'm gonna put the link in right here. Give me a second here. Let me type it in.
Oh God, Hollywood Hogan just slapped the taste out of Trent Beretta's mouth.
Oh Lord.
Guys got Trent Beretta by the balls.
www.com/JU. There's the link to the YouTube channel. We will be live in about a good 10 minutes. About 10, 15 minutes. We're going to show y'all what Fire Pro Wrestling is all about. And we're going to have a little bit of surprise for our little wrestling fans out there, our video game wrestling fans especially. Y'all going to be real surprised about who shows up on the announcing table.
And like I said, we did come to terms of the release of Dak Daniels. He could not remember wrestlers' names. He was hitting that sauce a little too much while calling commentary.
Oh, hell yeah. Anyways. All right. So any last words before we bounce up out of here, sir?
Nope.
So make sure that you subscribe to the Sinful Black Entertainment page on Facebook. Subscribe to it on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on Twitter. Subscribe to us everywhere that you can type in SYNFULBLAQ.
Subscribe to us on the Snapchat that man still hasn't made yet.
Yes, I know. I haven't even made my own Snapchat popping. So there's that. Don't blame the black guy. Anyways, so
I'm gonna pull up a video from 2 months ago. I guarantee you it'll be up this weekend.
Well, I didn't say guarantee. I said I will guarantee you I'll work on it. And I did try to work on it. I did. Probably.
2.5 seconds does not count as working on something.
I mean, you have no idea.
Stop doing it as soon as the word Snapchat crossed your mind. You're like, Snapchat, yep, I'm going to do something else.
Anyways, so make sure you catch us on Fire Pro Wrestling. About to go live in about 15, 20 minutes right there on that little link right there. Other than that, this is the end of the show. We're going live on the podcast on Anchor in another about half hour. Just got to download it, do my little edit magic, and then we good. So, Mr. Sim, I will see you on FPW, Infamous Pro, and IPW as it is. And we out this bitch.
Deuces.
Deuces.